So who is Rodney? What kind of guy is Rodney?
Rodney, I think what's sort of important about Rodney in terms of this movie is that he is, he's somebody who's had to sort of make some extreme choices, and in some cases some sort of choices that have led him down a destructive path in order just to kind of get by. He's been put in a tough spot, and he was in the military, and he came back from fighting, and that found that it was very hard to reintegrate into society. To kind of talk about the things that, the ways in which he spent the last 4 years, the things he saw, things he did, things that happened to him, and is sort of living with some dark secrets that are sort of eating him up inside out.
Yeah. What do you think, if you can pick out a couple themes, what do you think those would be?
Themes in the movie?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure, but I can talk about some of the sort of ideas that the movie sort of pokes at and looks at. I think that like ideas about justice and revenge, loyalty, betrayal, things like that. Sort of what do you value? How do we take care of one another? I think those are sort of the questions that are asked in the movie. How does a country take care of its military? How do you as a son take care of his father? How does a brother take care of his brother? What do you do if the person you love goes to jail for years and years? Do you wait for them? Do you not? What's expected of you? Those kind of things.
Yeah, like deep, good stuff. Was that part of kind of the selling point for you? And
I just wanted to work for Relativity, and I knew that I would get a chance to talk about this movie on Yahoo. And I said, I'm gonna do it.
You're doing it so well.
Thanks.
Your dream. I mean, you could leave now, right? All goals achieved.
Yeah, good idea.
What was in shooting in Braddock? How did that kind of affect or enhance the experience?
Well, shooting on location is a huge advantage because a lot of the work gets done for you. You get to just absorb sort of by osmosis sort of the atmosphere that is the movie. Yeah. Otherwise, you're sort of trying to play within this artificial frame of, sometimes in movies they'll just build a fake house and you think, in the middle of the scene I'm gonna just go over and get a drink of water and turn the faucet on, and it's just like sawdust comes out, and it's not. And they go like that faucet doesn't work. It's like the Truman Show, kind of. It's like living in the Truman Show. So it's that's not great, but sometimes it has to be done because that's just the way movies are made. In this case, we got to shoot in the place where the movie was set, and it's a place that is such a palpable atmosphere that it really helped, I think, the performances. And in the setting as a character itself in the movie, it's kind of about places like this, people like this in a way, as well as being about these specific people.
Yeah. How was your experience with Mr. Bale and Mr. Harrelson?
I had to look at the poster. I said, Mr. Bale and Mr. Harrelson, who are they? All right, Christian. They, working with Christian Bale is, sometimes you watch movies, I don't want to overstate it, but like I would love Marlon Brando, obviously like everybody else, he's, the greatest, and you watch movies that he's in, and he's just better than everybody. And like you go like, why are they behaving like that? Don't they see that he's behaving like a real human being? And they're going like, yes, I do believe. They're very artificial and stiff. And they go like, they should just be doing it like Marlon's doing it. What's wrong with them? I suspect that in some ways, in different ways, but in similar ways, that people look at Christian Bale's movies and they go like, why is he so much more interesting than everybody else? And so to get the opportunity to work with somebody like that, you do it, and I don't mind saying it. And I think that Woody has had a very unusual and impressive, kind of incredible career where he starts out, he survived like sitcom land. Most people, that's it, you know what I mean? They can't get past being the one character they were in a sitcom. And then he survived, I think he did some movies in the 80s and the 90s. Those are a lot of bad movies. That was a minefield of bad movies. And then And then he still had a career, and he did manage to do a lot of good things, big movies, small movies, funny movies, serious movies, and always fit in. And so it's great to be around people like that. And Willem Dafoe, what an incredible career he's had. And you just get pick little things up from them, It's just a treat, and it's an honor to kind of be doing it with them. It's just nice to be included.
Yeah. Do you feel that you're now kind of a competent fighter, like you could defend yourself if you had to?
I could kick your ass right now.
Yes. I don't know. I have been.
But I
taking
wouldn't.
Some classes.
That's the thing.
Okay.
I've learned control. It's all about never punching out of the dojo. I don't like to fight. I hate seeing fights. I don't like violence. I don't really like violence in movies, like realistic violence. Yet on the other hand, I feel like if there's going to be violence in the movie, it ought to be morally. It should be realistic. It should be upsetting, because we kind of live, not to sound off, but we live in a very violent culture, and part of that has to do with the way that violence is portrayed in the media. And if it's going to be violence in a movie, let's have it be upsetting. Let's have so you're sitting there watching that and you know what it's like, and not so you think it's super cool to go around shooting people with guns, and you go home and play your video games and you kill everybody, and then you think, well, screw it, I'm gonna just get my dad's gun and go into a room and kill a bunch of people. And that's a problem that we have, and I think that it's partly our responsibility in movies and in entertainment. And one way of dealing with it is to say, okay, if this is a movie about people who do violent things, we're going to show it as it really is.
Yeah. Last question, real quick.
I think we have to
I was just going to say real quick, this movie is so intense that I'm just wondering, I had to go home and kind of decompress. What movie of yours would you say would be a good decompressor?
A good decompressor to watch after my... you take your pick of any of the bad ones because they'll put you to sleep, they'll relax you, you feel good about yourself and everything that you do in your life, and be happy you're not in them. And if I name them, I'd be hurting people's feelings.
I don't think you've done a bad one.